everybody, and welcome to our session on building a recruiting strategy to hire SFA at Lumberjacks. My name is Brandy Derwin, and I'm the Assistant Director for the SFA Center for Career and Professional Development, and I'm going to go ahead and let Jamie introduce herself.
Yeah, I'm Jamie Bolden. I'm the director of SFA Center for Career and Professional Development. I'm excited to be here with you guys. I'm going to assist Brandy in kind of keeping an eye on the chat and moderating any questions that you may have. So feel free to utilize the chat function as she presents her information.
All right. So as I said just a moment ago, we're going to be talking about how to build a recruiting strategy to hire SFA Lumberjacks. So let me go ahead and share my screen if you'll give me just a moment. And let me get from the top. All right, so everybody should be able to see my little PowerPoint presentation here. And we're just going to be going through some overviews on just some tips that we have when it comes to figuring out, how you want to recruit at a university or how you want to recruit here at Stephen F. Austin. Again, these tactics can be used kind of anywhere, but it's just a general overview. So we've already given our introductions, but this is the beautiful campus that we get to work at every single day, and our students get to see as well. This is the Rusk building on campus. This at the top, you'll see the third floor, and that's where we're located. So if you ever choose to come out to Nacogdoches, this is the place where the Career Center lives, and so we would love to have you come take a tour and come engage with our students in person. But when we're thinking about, coming up with a recruiting strategy, of course, the very first thing that we encourage you to do is to use Handshake. So of course, Handshake is our online career management platform. And here at SFA, it is the one stop that we encourage students to go to in order to learn of opportunities. So when we have a student come to the Career Center or stop us in the hallway, or if we have faculty members ask us, hey, where do students find out about jobs? And where do students find out about internships? We send them directly to Handshake. Handshake is a really great resource for students to learn of opportunity, and it provides equitable access to that opportunity. So instead of, me trying to remember every single company that I know is hiring, once we have the positions posted in Handshake, this allows students to kind of go into that self-discovery mode where they can learn about all of the cool different jobs that are out there or the different internships that are out there, and begin to discover all of the opportunity that they could be applying for directly from their phone, which is a really great thing. Handshake is very responsive to cell phones or to using their desktop. So it really is just a great way for them to learn about all of the different opportunities. Again, the beautiful thing about Handshake is all of the postings are in one spot, and they are easy to find and easy to apply for, which is why we encourage you first and foremost, when you're getting ready to recruit, get your positions posted on Handshake. That way, as a career center, when we're doing demos of the site and showing students about the different opportunities, your postings are showing up for them to go ahead and view and apply for, okay? So when we're thinking about students working off campus, so not here at Stephen F. Austin State University, where do they apply? Where do they go? When we think about different companies, a lot of organizations have their own different model and their own different tactic for posting their positions. Maybe some companies only use LinkedIn. Maybe some companies only use their website. Maybe some companies only use Facebook. But once you have your positions posted online through Handshake, everything can be found within that one spot, which again makes it very easy for candidates to view and apply for those positions. Also, it shows them how to apply. So it's not necessarily just an opportunity for them to view the postings. They can actually apply through their phone or through their desktop, however it is that they want to apply for those postings. So it's for most positions, it's a really quick one-click apply, or if they have to upload a resume, it's a two-click apply. So, it's a really quick way for candidates to be able to get their foot in the door and get their resume in front of candidates. It also shows when you have your positions posted within Handshake, it also shows them who they contact for any of those, any questions or any other, if they wanted to get connected with another department at your organization, etc. All of that contact information is housed within Handshake. And so it's a lot easier for a new job seeker, because keep in mind, for most students, this is going to be their first full-time job that they've been going after. So it's a completely new landscape that they're going after. So it allows them to kind of figure out who do they need to contact to figure out either next steps or to get in contact with another person at an organization. Okay. Again, they may be, as a candidate, completely unfamiliar about all of the opportunity that is out there for them. Oftentimes when we are working with students or candidates in their job search, they typically, kind of go into their job search with a pretty narrow focus as far as what types of positions companies have to offer. And once we are able to jump into Handshake and show them at one company all of the different opportunities that are available, it starts to really amp up that career exploration phase for the job seeker. And so again, having those positions posted in Handshakes kind of helps facilitate that conversation. Of course, through Handshake, you know that you can connect with, at Stephen F. Austin, all of our students and our alumni. So here in the Career Center at Stephen F. Austin, all of the services that we offer to students are offered to alumni as well for free, which is a pretty sweet deal. So they have access to this job posting board really forever, as long as they want to have access to view and apply for positions. So know that even if you're looking for experienced talent, our platform is still very much so open to our alumni. And so you can still post those positions there as well. Of course, you can post to fill your part-time positions, your full-time positions, and of course your internship roles. All of those can be posted within Handshake for free for you as an employer. All right. So, of course, when you log into Handshake, this is the main screen that you see when you log in. All right. So this is kind of a snapshot of the main home page. You can see from this image that you can directly post a position. You can request an interview, or you can create an event. So I do want to kind of walk you through these three options, just so that you can be more familiar with what each of those mean and how you can really maximize your time on the platform. So of course, posting a job, and in Handshake, the word job and internship can almost be interchangeable. So this is really posting a position at your organization. And of course, the site walks you through how to do that. As for requesting an interview, so if you wanted to request an interview here at SFA, so here on campus, you are welcome to request that by clicking the Request an Interview button. But also know, if you are hosting virtual interviews through Zoom or through Google Meet or any other platform that you're choosing to use, you can request virtual interviews as well. So we can advertise those for students, and students can actually sign up for an interview time slot with you on that particular day. Okay. So it's a really great way for students to not only apply for the position, but it also allows them the opportunity to secure an interview time slot with you as a candidate. And then the last option on here is going to be create an event. So this can be everything from wanting to come on campus and maybe table outside or in our student center, or if you're hosting a virtual event that kind of shares more information about your company and highlights different ways that students can apply for your positions, maybe addresses company values, etc. You can post these events here as well and send them to Stephen F. Austin State University, where they'll show up for students to register for and attend. So it's a great way for you to, again, just kind of show all of the students and alumni what you have going on at your organization. In addition to posting a job, scheduling an interview, or requesting an event, you can see that you can also register for career fairs. So at Stephen F. Austin State University this spring, we are rolling out what we're calling employer connection events. So our employer connection weeks, as they're titled within Handshake, are small, very small, boutique career events that are held Monday through Thursday in a particular week. On each of the days of that week, each day is designated for a particular focus group. All right. So if you are looking to fill a management role at your organization, then you can register for one of our management days. Okay. Again, registration for employers is extremely limited due to COVID. Of course, we will be also supporting all COVID precautions by requiring face masks, limiting any communal items, etc. But you can register for those in-person, small in-person events through Handshake right now. Those events are live. In an effort to make sure that we are providing equitable access to employers and to students and alumni, any employer that registers for one of those in-person events Monday through Thursday will automatically be registered for our virtual expo taking place on Friday of that week. Okay, so that is going to be a separate registration just so we can keep it nice and organized as far as who's coming on campus and who's doing virtual recruiting. But know that even if your organization is not considering doing any in-person visits this semester, you can still register for our virtual expos taking place on those Fridays of those weeks. So feel free to jump in and get registered for those events. Our semester has already started, and so we have been pushing these events out to students already. You can go ahead and create your registration and create your schedule for students to sign up for a time slot if you are choosing to do that virtual route. You can also expect invitations to come from me via Handshake in the coming days. Okay. So that's an overview of Handshake and kind of the maximum benefits that you can have from that platform. I did want to highlight as well the diversity that we have here at Stephen F. Austin State University. So this is a great resource that our university created that we call Jack Facts. And I'm actually going to go ahead and pull this website up because I wanted to show you how responsive it is. Okay. So when I just Google SFA Jack Facts, it pulls me to this main page here. And I'm going to click here where it says head count. So on this head count, it will show you for the fall 2020 semester what the makeup was here at Stephen F. Austin State University. So you can see we have it broken down by ethnicity, by gender, and by Texas origin. So kind of where the student it comes from. All right. So I know oftentimes folks think that we are in Deep East Texas and that all of our students come from Nacogdoches, but it's quite shocking to a lot to realize that almost 20% of our students come from the Dallas area and almost 30% come from the Houston area. So it's a really great resource for you to kind of see where our students are coming from. And then this other section here, I like to say this kind of scoops everybody in, from San Antonio all the way up through Louisiana. I mean, we have a huge reach here at Stephen F. Austin, but it does include a nice little breakdown of Texas origin. All right. You can also go in and you can look at just undergraduate students or graduate students, depending on what you're looking to hire for. If you're looking for full-time students, you can hit submit over here on the right, and it will refresh the screen to kind of sort the way you'd like for it to look. You can even go so specific if you are looking for, as an example, in our College of Business, if you are looking for, students that are studying management and marketing. Again, you're going to hit submit again, and it's going to refresh specifically for that search that you're looking for there. All right. If you need to present this data to anybody, you can do the print option. And so it'll move it over into orientation for you. So you can save these and then share this with whoever it is you need to share it with. All right. So I think this can be a compelling argument as to why you would want to post your positions or even travel out to Deep East Texas to recruit at SFA. All right. So really great resource for you there. I do want to jump in really quickly to go back to this presentation. Again, to get to this resource, you can just Google SFA Jack Facts, and you should be able to find that resource there. All right. So when we're thinking about coming up with a recruiting strategy, that's the main thing that we want to talk about today. I've kind of broken this down into 3 different tiers, depending on you as a recruiter and kind of your commitment and what you as an organization can actually achieve. All right. I know sometimes as a new recruiter, we get really excited and we want to do all the things, but sometimes if, coming up with a really nice strategy beforehand can help you stay on top of things and make sure that you are, devoting the amount of time that it takes to effectively recruit at universities, and making sure that you have all of the resources that you can, so that you can be successful in those endeavors. So the first thing that I encourage recruiters to do is think about how involved can you actually be? All right. So perhaps when you're doing your reflection, you want to really think about how much time you have to dedicate to a particular university or to a particular role that you're trying to fill. Also, think about how much effort you want to put forward in getting these positions filled at a university level. What kind of resources do you have available as far as, being able to buy promotional items or swag or anything like that, so that you can really captivate the job seeker's attention? And then what kind of opportunities do you indeed have available at your organization? How have y'all organized that so that you know about the most recent positions that are posted, and what's your organization's strategy on actually filling those positions? So again, moving into these three different tiers. Tier one is what I like to call, the bare minimum, just kind of throwing positions out there, seeing what types of candidates apply for those positions. So with this, step one is going to be obviously creating an account on Handshake, which y'all all already have. To get to today's registration, you had to have an account on Handshake. So check, done, ready to move on. Step two for tier one is of course going to be to post your well-written and detailed job and internship descriptions. So at a minimum, getting those positions out there for candidates to review and apply. And then step three of that is actually managing those postings. So sometimes when we're working with students, they express some frustration that they've applied for positions on Handshake and they never hear back from the employer. And that can be really disheartening for a candidate, right? Like if you're applying for dozens of jobs and the employer never lets you know yes or no, that can be pretty hard for you to consider even moving forward with that company or continuing to apply for positions with that company. So I would encourage y'all to really do some reflection to decide who at your organization is going to be the person that goes in and has those hard conversations of telling a candidate no, or having the fun conversations of telling the candidate yes. Because leaving people kind of in that black hole of the job search, which is sometimes our applicant tracking systems, can be very frustrating for a job seeker, especially when they're looking for a position in these times, as well as approaching graduation. All right, so letting them know yes or no, whether or not they got the role, can really help build your brand at a campus. All right. So based on, again, how involved you can be, let's say that tier one is good for you and you also want to move into what we're calling tier two. So tier two would involve a little bit more of your time. It would involve you coming on campus, maybe setting up an information table outside or safely inside, wearing a face mask. So being able to still engage with candidates in person is something that our university is still very supportive of. Or if you wanted to go ahead and set up a virtual event through Handshake, know that you can do that as well. Perhaps you want to kind of engage with our campus by hosting a resume writing workshop or an interviewing skills workshop. I mean, you interview candidates all day, every day, as do we, but sometimes these students really value the feedback that employers directly are giving them. I know oftentimes we're sending the exact same message, but it's really interesting how students' ears and candidates' ears just tune in differently when it comes directly from an employer. So if that's ever something that you're interested in hosting here in a partnership with the Career Center, we would love to get that on the books with you and start strategically inviting students to hear directly from you as an employer as far as what you're looking for. And then the last step in tier two is going to be, of course, visiting with professors. So when we think about excuse me, additional ways that you as an employer can get engaged with students, creating really great partnerships with with professors is a great way for you to get involved at the college level. All right. So some Professors are willing to have conversations with recruiters, and maybe you can get a 3-minute pitch at the beginning of their class, or maybe you can do a partnership on a particular assignment with that faculty member. So if that's something that you're interested in doing, and you know that you have the time and you want to put forth the effort and you have the resources and you have the opportunity to do this, let us know about that here in the Career Center, and we can do our best to get you connected with the right faculty member in order to make that be a lucrative experience for you. All right. So then again, the last tier on here is everything in tier 1, everything in tier 2. And now we're going to move into tier 3, which is, the most involved that you really can be. So conducting those interviews, whether they be virtually or whether they be here in person here at SFA, know that we're happy to coordinate those with you. Of course, attending our career expos or our employer connection weeks, as we're calling them in Handshake, really great way for you to engage with students in person and virtually, depending on what your organization is willing to do. And then, of course, if you're wanting to sponsor any space here in the Career Center, it's a really great way for you to brand your organization. We can definitely have a conversation about that. Or if your company wanted to host a site visit, so a really quick tour of your facility where you can do an overview of the positions that you have, or that just kind of gives students a little bit of a vision as far as what your organization is all about, and if they were to work there one day, what that might look like for them. So again, that's going to be tier 3. It does include a little bit more of your time, but the investment tends to have a pretty great payoff for our employers that want to build those relationships with candidates and kind of create that talent pipeline for them in the end. All right, so the next thing that I wanted to kind of chat about are the goodies and how you can really maximize your time doing an in-person career expo or being at an in-person career expo. Here in the Career Center, we give you a table and we give you a chair. Everything else is up to you. You can do what you want to do. All right. Now, you do have a limited amount of space. I get that. And of course, with COVID, we have precautions that we put in place. But know that you can get as creative as you'd like when it comes to different swag items or that you want to give away to candidates. Candidates love goodies, right? I mean, they have conversations. It's a conversation starter about the stress ball that you bring or the pen that they got, or a real big ticket item is the t-shirts that you're giving away. And students will wear those t-shirts on campus. So when you think about it as being an advertising opportunity for your company, the investment of some t-shirts that you're giving away at an in-person event, or that you're mailing to candidates virtually, can really go a long way for your organization. If you are in person, I would encourage you to come out from behind the table to interact with candidates. By having that barrier between you and the candidate, it can kind of come across a little bit more transactional and a little bit more business-like. But by coming around the table and standing, 6 feet from somebody to have that conversation, it can really start to personalize you as a human being, knowing that it's one person talking to another person about an opportunity. All right. I also encourage you to take the lead. So almost 50% of our campus population here at SFA are first-generation college students. And so navigating these career events or even knowing how to talk to a recruiter is something that they are learning how to do. So by being a recruiter that kind of takes the lead of the conversation and kind of pulls the conversation along with the student, it can really be a great opportunity for you to engage with a good candidate that might just not know exactly how to do this. All right. So I know that y'all are all experts on the line. And so being the person that takes the lead, sometimes you just have to do that. All right. Also, I encourage you to supply steps to the student on how they can apply or how they can follow up. So sometimes recruiters will have QR codes printed off where students can take a photo of that with their phone and it'll directly pull them into the application. They'll make a tiny URL so that the student can walk away with something that has the next steps on what they need to do in order to apply for your positions. Of course, don't hesitate in getting their contact information as well and sending them a reminder email. All right. We all know that our inboxes have been overwhelmingly flooded over the past year with everything switching virtual. So taking a minute to kind of, again, take the lead on that is something we would recommend. Also, follow up with the candidates that you're interested in quickly. Good candidates go quick. If they impressed you when you were engaging with them, they most likely impress another recruiter. And so it's almost a race to the finish line as far as scooping up that good talent and making sure that you're onboarding them to your organization and making the best offer that you can offer. I did want to chat really quickly about internships and getting your positions posted on Handshake for students to apply. So internships are a really great way for you as an employer to introduce a candidate to your organization. And it can be a short-term commitment, a 16-week commitment, or an 8-week commitment, or a 4-week commitment, depending on what your organization is willing to do. But for employers, the benefits, are that these are fresh young minds that are ready to assist on any special project that you might have available in your office. It also lets this be almost a semester-long internship. So it allows you to develop a really great relationship with that person and decide if you want to offer them a full-time position or a part-time position later on. It also allows you to increase your brand here at SFA because that one person that's interning at your organization is probably going to be telling their friends about it, right? They're probably going to be letting them know about what they're doing at their internship and the company that they're interning at. So it's a great way for you to brand your company. And then, of course, allowing your team in the office some mentoring opportunities. I feel like we have a lot of really great talent that works with us at our organization. And so giving them the opportunity to share their knowledge and to pass that knowledge on to another individual that's interested in your industry or your company is a really great way for your own team to be able to pour back into a candidate and possibly a teammate one day. As for students, of course, internships gives them valuable learning opportunities so that they can gain experience. And I like to say it gives them the chance to gain experience that they can talk about one day in an interview. So thank y'all so much for those that do offer internships because it allows students to really broaden their story and provide really great examples of the skill set that they have to bring to an employer. From there, it also allows them to try before they buy. So it allows them to kind of test drive in this career to decide if this is something that they want to go into once they actually graduate. It also allows them to build their references for the future. Again, a lot of times our students, this will be the first professional experience they have. And so you could really be their first reference as far as their work ethic is concerned and start to help them build out their professional documents. It also allows you as a student to be able to explore all of those different career options. Again, making sure that your search isn't very narrow and that can be much more broad when you're going to look at different opportunities for you, okay? Lastly, how can you actually find an internship? Of course, we've talked about how you can post those positions on Handshake. So that's really going to be the best option for you, is to get those positions posted on Handshake for students and employers, or for students and faculty members to actually view and apply for. All right. Now, if you are willing to offer course credit, you can include that into your internship posting. Oftentimes, in order for a student to get course credit for their internship, it's really just being able to provide a detailed job description or internship description over to the faculty member to make sure that the two align with their program outcomes. But I would encourage you, if that is something you're willing to do, know that it's a little bit more paperwork and some supervision that you have to do, some forms you have to fill out, but it really is a great experience for a student to be able to not only gain experience during an internship, but also gain professional experience at the exact same time and knock out some course credit. So really great ways for you to start recruiting here at SFA. So again, the first thing that I would encourage you to do is really think about how you want to start to brand out your recruiting strategy and figure out how much time, how much effort, and how many resources and how much opportunity you have as you're moving into your recruiting strategy at different universities. So on this screen, you can see my contact information. So feel free to go ahead and shoot me an email or give me a call. I'd love to be able to discuss a strategy with you that works best for your organization. Other than that, I am going to go ahead and pause for a few questions. So feel free to unmute yourself and I'll do my best to answer your questions.
Oh, hi, Brand. Regarding how the student to check their resume here is usually like is it like a 1 hour section or it is a 2 hour section? How long it will take?
Sure. Are you talking about hosting like a resume workshop?
Yep.
Sure. So, if you're doing something in person, we would encourage you to block out probably about an hour to do something in person. However, doing things virtually, you just, the time, it doesn't quite take a full hour to do that kind of stuff. So if that's something that you want to kind of scale back to a quick 30-minute session, know that that is an option for you as well. I like to think about how long we can sit in a chair in front of a computer and kind of digest information. So usually about 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes virtually is going to be the time frame that I would recommend.
Okay. And then usually how many students will participate?
Sure. So it really just depends on the time of day that you plan to host these. Of course, students are in class typically during the day, and so being mindful of that. We've seen one student participate in it. We've seen up to 20 students participate in them. So it really just depends on the timing of the event and the day of the event that you choose. But of course, that's something that if it's something you're interested in, we can work out together.
Okay, so I guess if we work out together, we will set up some kind of section together, right? For example, like a half hour for one student, and then total how many sessions it will be, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay, good. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, everybody. So we are at time right now. Again, know that all of these recordings are, or all of these sessions are being recorded and will be sent out to you at a later date.